My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, April 21, 2025, and in this episode I want to share my handwerk perikelen, that's a Dutch word for crafty adventures, from this week with you. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to sew, and I love to talk. I don't love to sew. I love to wear self-sewn clothes. I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, I am sitting at the floor. It is not Monday today. I was lying to you. I'm sorry. I always make my episodes on Monday. And when I plan to make an episode this Easter weekend, my weekend was not filled with a lot of activities, so I thought I would have the time for it, but now it's completely busy and with all the family fun things. In the Netherlands we always have 2 Easter days. We have first Easter day and second Easter day, and it is first Easter day today. It is Sunday morning, but we planned a spontaneous camper trip. So we will go camping this afternoon, and this was the only moment I could film my rabbit episode, and I really wanted to do it this weekend because I worked so hard to finish the rabbits and I couldn't complete them completely because I had to do it one day earlier, but I really want to share the rabbits because they are HeartJumping. Let me show them to you. My little babies, my little rabbit babies. Okay, they need a little bit of an introduction. These are my children. I have 3 children, and my children, in Dutch we say kinderen. They are 15, 18 and 20. Girl, boy. Yeah, so I made them a rabbit. And I must confess, I am not a stuffy maker. The Dutch word is knuffel. And I learned that in English you say stuffy. When I started crocheting, I was a crocheter only before I was a knitter. My kids were little and were small, and I made them stuffies. Although I tried to make them stuffies. And that was the moment I realized I am not a stuffy maker. I really admire people who can make those beautiful crocheted and knitted stuffed animals or stuffed dolls, whatever. But I can do the crochet work. I didn't knit a stuffy before last year, I guess. Only crochet. I can do the crochet work, and that's pretty good, but I can't do the finishing touch. Placing the eyes on the right place or the embroider the mouth or whatever, they always looked a bit scary. So I also didn't really felt the desire to make stuffies, so I just skipped it from my crochet list. So I never, it was okay, I didn't make stuffies. I make clothes and blankets and pillowcases and all the things, but no stuffies. But last year in 2024, if you watch my episodes for a longer time, you have heard this story many times. I'm sorry, but it's just such a lovely story. My little niece, she turned 3 then. She's 4 years old right now, but she turned 3 then, and she told her mommy and her daddy about her dream. She was dreaming about a blue rabbit made by Sarah, made by me. And my sister told me that story, and I thought, I don't like blue, I don't like knitting rabbits, but I do like my little niece, and I do like her dream come true. I do like to teach her that you can dream things and that they can come true. That sounds very romantic, but I love romantic stories, so I knitted her a blue rabbit. And I had surprisingly much fun. I didn't expect that at all, because I'm not a blue lover and certainly not a stuffy knitter. And it was one of the most fun knit things I ever knit. It was just, yeah, adorable. I fell in love with that little stuffy, that little rabbit. At the moment I stuffed it, she came to life. It was a she, I guess. Yes, it was a she. She came alive, and I was completely in love. And then knitting her dresses and cardigans and little Mary Janes. Oh my gosh, it was really lovely. So at that point, it was a birthday gift for my little niece. She was very happy with it, and I decided I want to knit my own kids a rabbit. So I did do that. I was not very motivated to dive into that rabbit hole and only knit rabbits. So I decided Wednesday will be my rabbit knit day. And I only knitted on them on Wednesdays, and that worked pretty good. But at some point that process stopped. And then I think my rabbits were hibernating. I don't think they do that. Do rabbits hibernate? I don't know. But mine were hibernating, definitely. So I really wanted to pick it up again, that little knitting job. Oh, little knitting job. It was quite a job, actually. But I never felt the motivation. And at some point I thought, I want a rabbit week again. I just want to spend 1 week on the rabbits and dive into the rabbit hole, have fun, and then it's finished. So I decided to do that, and probably it was meant to be the week before Easter, and yeah, as if it was meant to be. I love that. It was not specifically planned a week for Easter, but if you are doing a knitting rabbit week, a rabbit knitting week, you can do it the week before Easter or the week after Easter. You can start today if you want to. So I did do that. I must confess I underestimated the time it would take. Last year I knitted 1 rabbit in 1 week with dresses and cardigans and all, and now I wanted to make 3, and I didn't really think about that knitting 3 rabbits of course takes a lot more time than knitting 1 rabbit. Yeah, I just planned the episode for Monday, and I thought I had the time, and then all the things happened, all the fun things, but I still wanted to do this episode in the Easter weekend because I just want to show them and I just love them. And I knitted so much. I knitted like crazy. I'm not a very quick knitter. I'm also not a slow knitter, but also not a very quick knitter, but I just knitted all week, and I put my alarm clock in the early morning, very early, and at some point my husband came down and he watched me, and I asked him, do you think I have a problem? he said, are you having fun? Yes, I am having fun. Then you don't have a problem. And then it reminds me of all the people running marathons and all the things. They are a little bit crazy too. Why should you run a marathon? And I did my knitting marathon, so I'm tired now. I need to rest. But I had so much fun. And here they are. So let's dive into the rabbits. Yeah, where shall I start? Let's start with the pattern. I did use this pattern. It's from Julie Williams, Little Cotton Rabbits. And this pattern was gifted to me by a Dutch viewer, so thank you very much for that. A Ravelry present. If you don't have to make me happy with Ravelry presents because I have a lot already received. Thank you a lot for that. But if you have a knitting friend and you want to surprise a knitting friend, you can buy a pattern on Ravelry for someone else. And that's really a heart-jumping moment in your inbox. Someone has gifted you a pattern. And no matter if you are if you will make the pattern, it's just receiving is already a heart-jumping moment. And it doesn't matter if the person will make the pattern or not. You are always supporting the designer by buying a pattern, and you are giving the receiver a heart-jumping moment. So this was definitely. So this is the Little Cotton Rabbit, the bunny with a striped sweater. Julie Williams is a rabbit designer, a stuffy designer. If you check her Instagram page, it's an overload of cuteness. She makes all the different animals. Rabbits, I think she started with rabbits according to her name. I don't know if according is the right word, but it feels as if it is, so maybe I'm saying something weird. She also has foxes, cows, moles. I think that's the English word. In Dutch we call it mole. In Dutch, rabbit is konijn. It's always also a sweet word, konijn. All the different animals, and they are all adorable, and they all have their own wardrobe, and that's something which is really heart jumping to me. I was a doll mom when I was a kid. I really loved my dolls and all the lovely doll clothes, and yeah, I just love that. And I think that inner child part in me is touched by this pattern and all the garments and all the things, because I am having so much fun. Yeah, so I use this pattern, and the patterns are really there's a lot information in the pattern. As you can see, this rabbit has different colors, and at the end of the pattern, I didn't see that, of course, because I never go through the whole pattern. I just skipped the color instructions because there's used some intarsia. I just skipped the instructions, and later I discovered that there are all the instructions for a plain bunny head. At the end of the pattern, a Dutch bunny head. I don't know if this is typical Dutch, with the white part around the nose and the mouth. And there's another one. Let me see. A head with an eye patch, and all the instructions are there in this pattern. So you can make all the rabbits in all the different color combinations. I did choose for plain rabbits. These rabbits are knitted in pieces, flat, so you have to sew them all together. You have to sew the seams, you have to sew the seams, and you have to put all the things together: arms, body, legs, head, ears. And with all the clothes, I thought it was challenging enough for me to do it, so I didn't do it in extra colors. I knitted them in lead lopi. Lead lopi is a worsted weight yarn. I think the rabbits are... the pattern tells you to use DK weight yarn. I used worsted weight. Mine are a little bit longer, but only a little bit. And you have different patterns. When you check the Ravelry page, it's quite a rabbit hole of patterns. You have the big ones and you have the small stuffies. The big ones are 9-inch, 23 centimeters. The small ones, I don't know. I only did the big ones. And all the extra patterns I bought, I will tell you all about it. All for the big ones. So you have to be secure. No, you have to check very good for which size you are buying the patterns. Because... they are quite similar, only the length is a little bit different. I did choose the big ones because I don't want them too small, and it was a little bit small. In Dutch we say perikelen, all small things. Even smaller, it would be too challenging for me, I guess. So, I started with these colors. I let my kids pick their own color. My son said, I don't really care, something brown, so I chose dark brown. My girl said, we both want this color. And I didn't really like that they had the same color, but it are their rabbits, so okay, I made them. And the heads and the ears, those parts I made last year, but I didn't put them together. So when I stuffed them, I realized that the heads are quite bigger from the lighter one than the darker one. And I think I told that last week also in the episode. I didn't like that because he's the big brother and those are the little sisters, and it didn't make sense. The only thing I could think of was that I used a needle size bigger accidentally. I knit them on 2mm needles. It's dramatic. Knitting worsted weight rustic yarn on 2mm needles. My needles are all not straight anymore. They really worked hard. It was hard on my hands. My hands didn't hurt, but it was just not relaxed knitting. I'm really looking forward to just knit 100 stitches. And there was happening so much. You have all the instructions, and I had quite some knitting administration. I did write all the things down. I don't know if you can see it. Head, ears, yeah, and all I needed 3 heads, 6 ears, all the things. I really needed to write down where I was to not get lost in all the rabbit things. So it was really a knitting job that needs some attention. Yeah, I got some lovely... Yeah, I certainly thought about it last week because I got some lovely suggestions for those about making it into a blanket stuffy. I know that too, but I didn't think of it. And of course this granny square is absolutely too small for it, but I can crochet a big granny square and attach the head to the center of the granny square, and you have a big blanket. So I think I will do that. It was really, I really felt a sparkle when I read that comment. Different people sent me the comment and the messages, so really thank you for thinking with me. And yeah, I think I will do that because I don't feel the need to make me and my husband as rabbits. 3 is enough, so I don't think I want to make more rabbits. There's some lead lopi in my throat, I guess. I'm sorry. I have no time for editing this weekend, so it will be a rough unedited episode, I guess. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I can do a little bit in the camper van. So those will wait. And I asked my daughter, can I pick another color for you? Because I love it when they are all three different. So she said, okay. So I have dark brown, middle brown, and yeah, this color is called straw. Knitting the stuffies in Let Lopi is really working out pretty good for me. The knitting was not really relaxed, but it's so forgivable. And I am not a neat finisher, so sewing all the seams, doing all the things, it's quite a challenge. But with Let Lopi, everything is looking good in Let Lopi. So I don't know if you can see the back seam. It's hardly visible, but also, yeah, also those parts, I didn't do it really nice and neat, a little bit hurried. And also, I don't feel the motivation to slow down in that process and to do it as perfect as possible. I don't want to do that. I am not such a person. So it really worked out for me to do it in Let Lopi, because when I would have worked with a cotton yarn or a thinner, a merino woolly yarn, a softer woolly yarn, then it would look horrible. But also the face, look, you see all the things, but in Let Lopi it doesn't matter. So if you are as I am, if you are the same as me, pick a rustic yarn. I felt that I did knit all the ears and all the heads, and then I stuffed the heads because I needed that heart jumping moment of that little rabbit watching to me. I might do this over. This nose is a little bit on the big side, but the pattern really describes well where you have to place the eyes and the embroidery, and exactly in which row you need to attach the ears, and that really worked out pretty good for me, because I would never put the eyes so far to the front. I would pick a place much more higher, and that wouldn't make sense. So that was really helpful. After finishing the heads, I did knit the bodies and the legs and the arms, and then I put them all together, and then I thought I was finished, and then they also needed tails. I thought, oh, tails. Shall I make tails? And my son said, you must make tails. So I did do that too. They all have tails, and then I finally could start the garments. That was the most fun part. I will show you with what material I stuffed my stuffies, my rabbits, but I need to grab it, so I will be back in a minute. Okay, I grabbed my yarn, I grabbed my wool. Excuse for the noise. It's in a plastic bag. I want to show you with which material I stuff my rabbits. I use wool, and this is dark brown alpaca wool. It's actually spinning wool. My mom bought it at a knitting event years ago, but she decided she didn't want to spin anymore. She used to do that, but her spinning wheel was broke, and they got moved to a smaller house, and she just said, okay, spinning is not what I do anymore. So I received the wool, and I'm not a spinner. I really think I would love to spin. I'm a little bit afraid of learning to spin, because I think I will fall into a new rabbit hole and want all the things, all the tools, all the wools, and it's not that I have time left right now at this point in my life. So I am ignoring it a little bit, but there is a spinning sparkle somewhere. But I am using this alpaca wool to stuff my bunnies and my rabbits. And I know you also have the fiber fill stuff, but I really prefer to stuff my bunnies with wool. I think fiber fill is a synthetic material. There's no soul in synthetic material, and there is a soul in wool. Wool is natural, and it comes from animals, from sheep, or in this case from alpacas, and that feels so different. I don't know. My daughter is a crocheter, and she makes all the plants and all the stuffies, and she's very talented, and she uses fiber fill. She prefers fiber fill, but I I don't like the feeling, and yeah, I love the feeling of wool into my stuffy. So I always use wool, and it doesn't matter what you prefer, as long as you do what you prefer. And if it is synthetic or if it's wool, it doesn't matter. As long as it works for you, it's okay. But I stuff mine with wool, and I really love it that they are dark brown inside. Dark brown is my absolutely favorite color. And yeah, just their insides are brown. It's HeartJumping to me. You can't see it. I even stuffed the lighter one with dark brown. You can't really see it, but when you know, you know. I'm wondering if I'm dark brown inside too. That would be that would not be a good thing. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I really love to use that. Let me start with sharing a little bit about their outfits. These rabbits, I'm changing from rabbits to bunnies. I don't know why. I think it's because it's bunny with a striped sweater. These rabbits are made in pieces. And I interrupted the video because I'm switching to Dutch, filming in Dutch and filming in English. So maybe I already told it. I'm sorry for that. But I made them in pieces. 3 heads, then 6 ears, and then I filled the heads and finished them. And I have 3 different colors right now. And after finishing the heads, it was really a motivational point for me, because when I finished the head and I embroidered the eyes and the nose and the mouth on it, they came alive, and I really needed to knit further on the bodies, because before the filling part and the embroidery part, they were just flat pieces of knitting, and now there were little animals which I could love. So I really love the embroidery instructions too. The patterns are so well written with all the detailed instructions, where to put the eyes, where to place them, where to place the ears. Those things I can't do myself, so it's really helpful that Julie described exactly where I need to do that. So yeah, when I finished the heads, I started knitting the bodies 3 times, then 6 legs, then 6 arms, and then I was sick of knitting worsted weight yarn on 2mm needles. And then I did sew them all together, and I really, as I said, love knitting with lead loopy because it's really forgivable. I'm not a neat knitter and also not a neat sewer, and all those sewed seams which are not really nice and neat, and this one, it's absolutely fine in lead loopy, and when I would have worked with cotton yarn, it would be dramatic. So it's part of the success for me. And then I started knitting the wardrobes, and let me explain to you what I did use. This is the basic pattern, and you have that in this one, and there's another basic pattern for a bunny with a dress, with a dotted dress, I guess. And as I said, I have the big rabbits, the 9-inch ones. You also have the small versions, but I have everything for the 9-inch. And all the patterns, all the extra patterns for extra garments are coming in small and bigger versions. So you have to be aware to pick the right version. For my son's rabbit, I just followed the instruction for the outfit, and I started with knitting the short trousers. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the most wonderful, delicious yarn, and it's obviously not blocked yet, so it's a little bit wonky. Actually, the instructions said that you could better block before sew it together, but I didn't have time for that. But I did knit this little pair of trousers in the most luxury hand-spun yarn. Oh, this is not part of the yarn. This is a Ouessant yarn, and I didn't know what Ouessant was. I received a few months ago some Ouessant yarn, but it's a special sheep, a tiny sheep from, was it from the Shetlands? I'm not quite sure. But it's really delicious yarn, and this is hand-spun yarn. I received 3 little skeins of hand-spun yarn from a lovely Dutch viewer of the podcast, especially to knit some garments for my rabbits. And that was HeartJumping. It's very special to receive yarn, but receiving hand-spun yarn is even more special. And when I was knitting with the Ouessant yarn, I was knitting on 2mm needles. It's very thin. It is 100 gram, 453 meters. And the short trousers are a little bit too tight. I really had to stretch it out so I could sew it together. It's a little bit low-waisted, but I think that's quite how teenagers can wear their trousers. It's quite low-waisted, and I had to sew it down when it was around the rabbit, and I can put it off, but there also needed to be a hole for the tail. And I was a little bit afraid it was too tight, but I think it's absolutely okay. Maybe a little more height could be better next time, or just pick a thicker yarn because it's caused by the yarn. But I really love the look of it. It's knitted in one piece flat, and you have to sew the seams together to create the trousers. And then the sweater, it was quite a challenge to knit the sweater. The sweater is knitted bottom up, and you start with knitting a sleeve, and then you start with knitting a front part, and then another sleeve, another back part, and you knit all the separate pieces to a certain point, and you hold them on your needles, and in one round, when you finish them all, you connect them with the other rows. And then you started decreasing with a central decrease stitch. I love that detail. And then it all come together and becomes one piece. But it was really all the yarn ends, because you are knitting stripes, and you bring your yarn to another stripe. You don't cut the yarn by knitting stripes, but because you have 4 different pieces, it was really dramatic. And it's all rustic yarn, the red yarn. Oh, I forgot to tell about the color choice. It was my plan to knit this colored striped sweater, but my son asked me, can I have a red and white stripe, because one of his favorite sweater was definitely a red and white striped sweater, and it went wrong in the laundry, so it became a very small sweater, so he couldn't wear it as long as he wanted to, but it was really his favorite. And I had this lovely red yarn in my yarn stash. This is a thrifted yarn. Sometimes you are lucky in the thrift shop, and this is a very old yarn, but it's very rustic, 100% wool, and I'm not really a red lover, but I love this shade of red, and I also love the red and white stripes. Also, this one is not blocked yet, and it needs a button so to finish it, and it's a bit oversized. It's a baggy sweater. Because this yarn was a little bit thicker, I thought, okay, let's knit this on 2.25mm needles. Yeah, so I played a little bit with the yarns I used. Actually, it's better to use fingering weight yarn for everything, but sometimes I do a little bit thinner, sometimes a little bit thicker, so that absolutely influences the way the garments come out. But I love the look of this, and he has no shoes. There is not a shoe pattern involved in this basic pattern. I have a separate pattern for shoes. I will show it when I show you the lady rabbits. But yeah, there was no time for shoes. Oh, the legs are also a little bit wonky. They need to go a little bit. I can't sew straight legs on a body. Yeah, that's not one of my talents, but it's okay. It's okay. Then you have wonky legs. You are cute anyway. So he is ready. Then I have this one. I used the rabbit pattern for all the same every time. And for the girls, there is another pattern with a dress, but I don't have that. But I bought an extra pattern, and that's this one. I really love this one. This is called Little Cotton Rabbit's Textured Dress Patterns. And you can see all the textured dresses. They are all in this pattern. 19, I guess. 19 textured skirt designs, ranging from easy to more challenging knits. And I really love this. All the opportunities. And it's all the same. It's happening in the skirt. You knit those bottom up, and there are instructions for every single skirt, and the body is the same. So there's one instruction for the body, and when you finish the skirt, you can go back to the body instructions and finish those. You knit this bottom up and also flat, but I decided to knit the skirts in the round because I prefer that, and the body I knitted flat because you need the opening, and there's no button yet here. For this one I used the crisscross pattern, and I really loved it, but it's definitely not blocked yet, so it's looking a little bit messy. Maybe you recognize the color. I used the same color I used for my house cardigan. It's Rauma Vinul in a little bit of a grayish pink. I love that. And I made a little white color. So cute. I knitted the skirt, or actually the whole dress, on a little bit too tight gauge, 2mm needles, and it's better to, if I would go up 1 needle size. It's a little bit too tight, and I think it can block out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why I choose for it. But yeah, next time I will go up a needle size. The skirt can be a little bit flowy. It's quite stiff right now and it's not a problem, but yeah, just would have been better. Then the lovely Mary Janes. I love the Mary Janes. I chose the lacy ones. For that I have a separate pattern too. You have little cotton rabbits removable shoes for 9-inch animals. And I made these. You have all the Mary Janes in different ways. You have, how do you call that? In Dutch we say sloffen. How is that called in English? Those relaxing shoes. Again, let me search for it. I can't find it. Of course, I can't find it when I need it. Oh, slippers. Is slippers the word? Oh, that's funny. When I say, in Dutch we also have the word slippers, but we mean the slippers you go in with your bare feet. My Birkenstocks are slippers. Although not those are klompen. I think the clogs is the English word, but with the 2 strands, those are called slippers. Or you have plastic slippers. But the relaxing shoes we call sloffen. For in-house, to have nice warm feet when you go to bed or you come out of your bed. Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, I really love that. Again, this is a paid-for pattern, but there are so many instructions. How to knit socks, not removable socks. There are plenty possibilities too. All the options, all the different shoes and all the different combinations. So it's really worth the extra money. I must confess, I love the Mary Janes. I'm not quite sure if I love the other ones. So I didn't knit my son sneakers because I didn't have time for it and I didn't know if I loved the look. So I decided not to, but one of the girls asked me, can I have sneakers too? So maybe I will try them once and maybe I will love them, we shall see. But I use this pattern. In my Ravelry notes I did link down all the patterns which I used for all the different things. Okay, then my youngest rabbit child. This is my youngest girl. I knitted a brown dress. I really wanted to knit a brown dress and I had a little bit left over from Rauma Vinul. I was not sure if it would be enough, so I did weigh this dress and this dress was 12 grams and that was, this little bit of yarn was 14 grams. So I thought, okay, let's do it, but I didn't change to a bigger needle because I was afraid that it would eat more yarn and that I couldn't finish the dress. So again, I knitted on 2mm needles. Oh, I'm rushing through it. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit in a hurry. And yeah, I think it would have been better if the needle was bigger. It was actually my plan to knit this dress. I really love this one with a lacy bottom, but I don't know. I failed over and over again, and the patterns are coming with all the charts and they are really clear and well written. And again, it's all very, I don't know the word. In Dutch we say uitgebreid. There is a lot of information in the pattern, but it was just, I think I was hurried too much. So I decided to pick another pattern, and that's, for this one is the double eyelet rib. And I really love the stitch pattern, and I don't think it definitely needs to be blocked. But I really loved it. I thought I don't know if it shows good up on camera, but I thought I need a cardigan with this stitch in my life. And in the end, I had a little bit tiny yarn end left to knit a color. No, to crochet a color. Instructions are also in the pattern for a knitted color and a crochet color. And I prefer the crochet one. I love the look of that more. I did sew down the crochet colors because they were flipping a little bit upwards. And maybe I could have blocked that down. But I just, with a few stitches, put them down. And now they are all good. And also a pair of Mary Janes, and yeah, you can see they need buttons, so this is still loose. And I have a very good advice for the Mary Janes. Let me show the pink ones, you can see it better. There is a ridge, this ridge, and you knit also the Mary Janes, you knit back and forth with some increases, and then you sew it all together. And for this ridge there are two options. You can just make a purl row here and knit further. You can also bind off your stitches and pick up later, so you create this row. But I have another advice, because a few years ago someone sent me an Instagram reel with someone's making a very lovely etching. Yeah, it's not really an etching, it's a ridge, as if the stitches are laying. It's looking as a slip stitch ridge, and it's really a nice detail, but you do it knitting. You are not binding off stitches, it's just switching stitches. And I will link down below the Instagram reel, and I will put it in my Ravelry notes, because it was much more easy than binding off and picking up again. So I really love that. So yeah, those are my little bunny children. I have more patterns. I think there are a lot of free patterns too, and some of them you can just knit, but there are also some patterns who are, for example, this one. This is a Christmas dress, and this is the skirt, the bottom skirt, and you can only knit it when you have the whole pattern. There's also a colorwork version or a seasonal version, I don't know. There are more dresses, and all the different animals are wearing all the nice dresses, but you can play with the skirt too, because it's just a straight piece of fabric, so you can add your own inspiration and creativity to the skirt. I think I bought this pattern too. This is definitely not free. This is a trio of top-down sweaters, two stripy ones, and of course I actually already had the stripy one, but I needed the cardigan, and I wanted to knit the rabbits a cardigan too, especially the girls with their bared arm dresses, but there was no time for that left. But I love that too. And there's also a colorwork sweater pattern and a cable sweater pattern. I need those in my life too, but those are more for autumn and spring. Autumn and winter. I really love making those garments in other times of this year. Now it's spring and summer weather. There's a lovely summer pattern too for this one. I think this is a free pattern too. I'm not quite sure. I love it. I love it. For summer dresses. So I can play endless with the wardrobe. I really love to create a big pile of all the clothes and all the things, and we can change, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe my kids will do it, and other way I will do it myself. And one moment in my life, maybe I become a granny. My kids are way too young for that right now, but who knows. And you can play at Granny Sarah with the rabbits. Yeah, that would be lovely. We shall see. For now, I will block the clothes. I will finish the buttons. I have to search for a few buttons. I have to go to the yarn shop for really tiny wooden buttons. And then I will find a nice place for them in my house. And yeah. Then I have had enough rabbit knitting for now, but when it will be summer I will make them more outfits. And it was quite a big task this week, but just knitting a little dress or knitting, there's also a skirt pattern, skirt and short trousers, I saw that too. Just knitting a little item to add to their wardrobe, that's just a fun in-between thing. And I can really imagine that I love doing that in between. Use up your scraps and just yeah, or maybe I go shopping for my rabbits too. When I go to a yarn shop and I find a nice ball of yarn for the rabbits, I can do that too. You don't need a lot of yarn. I only needed less than 50 grams for the whole rabbits, and the garments, they are using no yarn, so they are perfect for scraps. As I said, this dress was 12 grams, this one was 14 grams. So yeah, all the tiny yarn ends, yeah, bits of yarn, you can knit lovely things of it. Okay, I think I told all about my rabbits. Maybe I can end with showing you my rabbits in my knitting book. They are horrible. I can't draw rabbits. It was just a quick drawing moment. I really love to do quick drawing moments, but garments are easier to draw. Or granny square pillowcases, they are really easy, but they are easier to draw than rabbits. But doesn't matter, they are in my knitting book right now with all the yarns and yeah, all the information. And I have a page in my knitting book from last year, because in this book I was working last year and this is my book for now. So they are everywhere, and I will put all the information in my Ravelry page so you can find it too if you are interested. And yeah, maybe you want to knit some rabbits too. I can really recommend this pattern. It's really well written. It might be a little bit challenging when you are a beginner knitter. In my Dutch episode I said it might be a little bit challenging when you are not familiar with English patterns. But it's really well written. There's a lot of information, a lot of instructions, very clear. You can Google everything. You can search for all the tutorials on YouTube if you don't know how to do a thing. But it's just, yeah, it's just a little bit of playing and having fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm so happy the rabbits came into my life. Yeah. And now I'm also done with rabbits. I just want to knit a sweater again. Now I want to knit a blanket and to crochet a blanket. And that brings me to next week's episodes. I never plan my episodes actually. I just start talking about my crafty adventures from that week. But for this holiday week, we have holidays right now here. The kids are all of, no, not all, 2 of my 3 kids, they don't have to go to school. I will have a mini camper trip with my girls later this week. Tonight we have a family camper trip. What wanted to say? Oh yeah, next week I have a blanket episode planned, because I finished my past, present, future blanket and I want to share all about that blanket with you. But I also have plans for a new blanket with my advent yarn, and I have some thoughts about the magic knot. I learned some new things about to magic knot or not, so I really want to share all my thoughts about that in next week's episode. So I think it will be a blanket one. And I also really felt the need for a crochet blanket on my needle. I don't crochet a lot these days, but I do love crochet. Actually, I think I'm more a crocheter than a knitter, but I can imagine you don't believe that when you watch my episodes. I love both, but crochet was my first love. So I definitely need some colorful crochet in my life too, so I have plans for a crochet blanket, and I will show all my plans and my thoughts in next week's episode. So I wish you a very good week. I have no idea if other countries have holidays right now too. In the Netherlands it's quite normal that we have holidays right now. Next weekend we will celebrate the birthday of our king. We have a king in the Netherlands and his birthday is on Sunday, but we celebrate it on Saturday this year, and it will go together with a big fair. We also always go to a fair where kids can sell their stuff, and my daughter will sell their crochet stuff, so that's quite exciting. She worked really hard to crochet all the things, and I will try to film it a little bit. If you are interested in seeing more of my life, I have quite a boring life, so let that be a warning. I have quite a boring life. I have a lovely life, but there's not a lot happening, and I don't bring you with me to all the things. But in my HeartJumping Friday videos, I try to make vlog style episodes. So I bring you with me during my week, and mainly knitting and crochet, a little bit of the other things in my life, but I will bring you with me to my camping life this week. So if you are interested in that, please check the show notes. There you can find all the information about the membership on YouTube, the HeartJumping Friday membership. And I definitely will also show the preparations for King's Day and all the work of my little girl. But I think I will show it next week too. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. We shall see. Yeah, okay. I wish you a very good week with a lot of HeartJumping moments. If you can't find them, create them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.